Shalom, 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 my brothers and sisters of the nation of Israel, so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians, the Israelites that the Bible speaks of. Welcome, welcome, welcome to another end of the week Sabbath class. I'm your brother, Ananias.
Brother Ezekiel.
We are A.O.I, the Awakening of Israel, and as always, it's an honor and a privilege to come before you each and every week, each and every Sabbath, to give you another uplifting and edifying lesson. With hopes and regards of teaching you something new that you didn't understand or giving you some clarification on some things that you might have questions on. But nonetheless, before we get started, we want to give our honor, glory, and praise to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Yahweh being the Heavenly Father, Yahweh Shai being his son, who the world calls Christ in the Paleo Hebrew. And through extreme sacrifice and example, we are all able to be here today to be uplifted and edified in the spirit. So we appreciate all you brothers and sisters tuning in. Make sure while you paying attention that you hit that like button. Go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already done so. Share this content with our brothers and sisters, the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native American, because this is beneficial to us all as a nation. And another thing, as we always state each and every week, remember to pray for your nation. Pray for Israel. Pray for your brothers and sisters as we go through these trying times and these difficult times. You know, we got to pray for the strengthening of our brothers and sisters. We got to pray that our brothers and sisters become stronger each and every day through their efforts, through this walk, this journey that we are in, walking in this truth, because it's difficult for some and others at different times to stay strong and to stay fervent in the spirit. So pray for your brothers and sisters. There's a lot of us that are dealing with a lot of heartache and pain. A lot of different thoughts that run through our minds. Sometimes we just need extra prayer for our brothers and sisters, and it's a great thing to do so. As the scriptures say, we got to keep the remembrance of the brethren in mind at all times. So, as stated, hey, pray for your nation, you know. And another thing, I want to make sure that you brothers and sisters, while you paying attention to this class, don't just sit there. Matter of fact, pull out your Bible, open the Bible. You know, take notes. Don't just sit there and watch the TV screen as if you're watching a TV episode or something. Hey, follow along and take notes, because this is for our learning, for our restoration as a nation, to help build us up and bring us back to where we're supposed to be. So how do we get there? By studying and by reading and applying the things that are written therein. All right. So as today is February the 28th, which would be so-called end of February, or the end of so-called Black History Month, we want to start a class off by going into some history. Now, why don't we bring out history all the time, but since it is so-called Black History and it's closing out, we're going to bring out some history that is not known and is not talked about, that our brothers and sisters need to know about what's going on in this world. But before we do so, let me get the book of Deuteronomy chapter 32, verse 7. Deuteronomy chapter 32, verse 7. Because history is important whether we want to admit it or not. A lot of people have been turned away from it. Our enemies try to hide it from them. And then when we do bring it out, they try to distort the truth. They try to water it down and pollute it so that it makes no sense. But the Lord requires us as a nation of people to remember our past. Bring that out, King.
The book of Deuteronomy chapter 32, verse 7.
Uh-huh.
And wherefore discourage ye the heart of the children of
Deuteronomy
Israel.
chapter 32, verse 7.
Oh, man. I'm bad. My bad. Deuteronomy chapter 32, verse 7. Remember the days of old.
What the Lord say?
Remember the days of old.
The key thing we want to remember or take out of this verse is the very first line. It says, the Lord says, remember the days of old. So as this being so-called Black History Month, you are required each and every day, not just during February, but every day, to require or remember the days of old, the things that happened in times of old. Read on.
Consider the years of many generations. Ask thy father, and he will show thee, thy elder, and they will tell thee.
So the Lord is saying, hey, remember the days of old. And this is what we're gonna go into. This is a little history fact right here. We got 2 or 3 of them that we're gonna go into. Nothing too much, but we have to bring the remembrance of the days of old back to the forefront to let our brothers and sisters know things ain't always what they seem. All right. And it says, on this day in 1946, Isaac Woodard, a World War II veteran, hours after being honorably discharged, was attacked by South Carolina police while still in uniform when taking the bus home and left permanently blind. The officers were acquitted by an all-white jury. So this brother was beat down by the police after being discharged, coming back home, still in uniform, letting them know that he just came home from serving his country, so to speak, which is brainwashing. But after serving his country, he come home and he gets beat down by South Carolina police, who beat him down the same way they beat down Rodney King. And guess what happened? The same thing that happened to Rodney King is the same thing that happened to his brother. All of those officers were acquitted, found not guilty. But this brother was left permanently blind, eyes beat in. Those are things that you can't even really imagine, somebody being beat down to the point where they can't even see no more. But our people have been blinded where they can't even see these things as being wrong, or the level of hatred that these people have toward us. And that's documented and written all throughout the scriptures and in history. But just wanted to bring that fact out. All right, moving on to the next one. This brother right here, called Joe Masako, he was a World War II hero. He sank a Nazi ship with a bomb made from a tin can with condensed milk. He was denied the highest military decoration due to his race. So here you have a brother right here who was able to sink a whole ship. He created a bomb from a can that had condensed milk in it. This is why the Lord said we special above all things, above all nations, above all people. The brother created a bomb out of a milk can, basically, and sunk a whole ship. Think about that. Let me get Jeremiah chapter 10, verse 16, right quick, King.
Yes, sir.
Jeremiah chapter 10, verse 16. Because our people don't realize how great we are. And I guess it might be fitting for them to give us a whole month to show us or to appreciate us, calling it so-called Black History Month. You know, and we have to dive back into these things to bring historical facts back to the forefront to let our people, especially the youth, know how great we were or are as a people. You know what I'm saying? We are the best inventors, the best cooks, singers, dancers, thinkers on this earth. And everything that's actually in this earth was actually started by us. Let's bring that out right quick. Jeremiah chapter 10, verse 16.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 10, verse 16. The portion of Jacob is not like them, for he is the former of
Read.
all things, and Israel is the rod of his inheritance. The Lord
Read that one more time, King.
all right. Jeremiah chapter 10, verse 16. The
Uh-huh.
of Jacob is not like them, for he is the former of all things, and Israel is the rod of his inheritance. The Lord of hosts is his name.
You see that? So Jacob, meaning Israel, is the former of all things. We form all things. The dance moves. We do these things and they copy and steal. We invent something, they copy, they steal. Anything that we do, they copy and steal. We are the former of all things. You know what I'm saying? That's on this earth. And we are the Lord's inheritance, the rod of his inheritance. You see that? But we have to understand these things as a nation of people. So moving on to the next historical fact. This is somebody that we should all be familiar with. We probably don't know the background story behind it, but I'm gonna read it anyway. This is it says she was raped at the age of 8. Her rapist was found guilty, but spent only 1 day in jail. After he was released, he was murdered. Because of this, she became a mute for almost 5 years, believing her voice killed him. She said, I killed that man because I told his name. And then I thought I would never speak again because my voice would kill anyone. So here this little girl was traumatized by being raped, harassed. You don't say if it was somebody of our own people or of another nation, but more than likely it was somebody of another nation. I mean, of our nation. But this sister was raped, and she believed when she spoke and told, and he was put to death, she think that her voice did that. But it was actually a judgment from the Lord. But reading on, it says her name was Margaret Ann Johnson. Later in life, she would change her name to Maya Angelou. And everybody, if you don't know, that's a famous poet, one of our sisters who grew up and did great things in life. When she finally did speak, she had a lot to say. Maya Angelou became a voice for women and the Black community, garnering respect and admiration for her honesty. So this is part of the history that we as a people need to understand. A lot of our people have went through a lot of different atrocities or a lot of tribulation for them to grow to get to a level of success. And that's what we as a nation of people are actually going to have to go through. A lot of heartache and pain in order to reach greatness, to reach the kingdom. We're going to have to go through these things. And as the Lord said, it was designed to be that way when Adam fell off. When Adam went against the grain and broke the commandments, it was then for declared that we as a nation of people would have to go through these things. All right. But moving on to what the class is going to be dealing with. The class is called Spiritual Wickedness, the Chains of Oppression. Spiritual Wickedness, the Chains of Oppression. All right. So once again, we appreciate you, brothers and sisters, tuning in as always. Continue to like, share, and comment, and ask your questions if you have any, in the comment section regarding the topic that we're talking about. And today's topic, we're going to be dealing with something that we've all seen. And we've seen this thing and it's bothered us before, when seeing it. But we're going to go into it tonight. It's something, let's just jump into it. We're going to talk about seeing this. Seeing this going on all the time. You got the different strokes going on. The different stroke syndrome, so to speak. Where you got the other nations adopting our people. You know what I'm saying? And this is another form of oppression that our people do not realize. Because if you ask today's Christian or just today's modern brother or sister or any person living in America, they're going to say there's nothing wrong with this. They'll say, hey, at least that child is being taken care of. That child has a family now. There's nothing wrong with that. We're all equal. We should be able to live in harmony, live in peace. But the bottom line of the story is there's something underlying wickedness behind it. It's a spiritual wickedness behind this. And this is just one topic that we're going to go into because we can do a series on different levels of spiritual wickedness that go on throughout the world. But this is just one that we chose to go over today. And this is something that you see all the time. I know our brothers and sisters have seen this. The other nation, the oppressors, having our children and walking around with them like nothing's wrong. And we're going to dive into it a little bit. Once again, this class is called Spiritual Wickedness, the Chains of Oppression. Because whether or not we want to admit it or not, these are the chains of oppression that are locking our people down. And you're starting to see it more and more and more and more as time goes on. I hate to see this. It makes no sense. But a lot of people will say, hey, that child is taken care of. That child has a family now. They're not just in the system. Yes, they are. They're still in the system. This is not freeing them. This is not building them up. This is not joy to them. This is madness. This is wickedness. But these are the things that we have to deal with. These are the things that go on in this society. And it's becoming the new norm now. That's why we got to break the chains of normacy in this society. This is not normal. But they have been introducing, or what's the word I'm looking for? Giving little sprinkles here and there of this all throughout history. Just like I was talking about earlier, the TV show back in the day, Different Strokes. This was a TV show that they promoted back in the 80s, I believe. It might have been the 70s or the 80s, but I think it's the 80s. And they had this little guy right here. You say the little catchphrase. I think that's Gary Coleman.
Right.
And he used to say, "What you talking about, Willis?" That was his little catchphrase. But this man adopted them. And they made a hit little TV show about it. And that was just a little sprinkling into society to see how people would react, how they would receive it. And nowadays, what do we see? A whole bunch of that going on. A lot of different celebrities are doing it. Madonna did it. Let me see.
And what her name is? Angeline?
Yeah, Angelina Jolie.
Yeah.
This is Madonna and her kids. Look at it. She done messed them boys up. Got the boys wearing dresses. What's the other woman name? Charlize Theron. She did the same thing. Did the same thing. Angelina Jolie, she went and got a whole different a whole variety. She went and got East Indian and everything. Got kids from all different types of nations. You know? But this is something that goes on all the time. And it plagues our people. But in today's society, they think that's normal. These are the chains of oppression. What we're going to dive into, we'll just get into it. Let's go to the book of Lamentations, chapter 2, verse 1, right quick. Why do these things happen? Why are we, as a people, giving into the hand of the enemy? These are the same people that were raping and robbing us, you know, who put us in slavery, who had us on the bottom of the slave ship, you know, but now they are adopting our kids, raising them in a fashion where they looking at, the kids start looking at us sideways, looking at their own people sideways.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I've seen it too many times. We looking at them, the kids, they tune their lip up or tune their nose up in the air, or they look away when they see their own people because they raised by the enemy. And we're going to get into it, though. But let's go to the book of Lamentations right quick.
All right.
Chapter 2.
The book of Lamentations, chapter 2, verse 1. How hath the Lord covered the daughter of Zion with a cloud in his anger, and cast down from heaven unto the earth the beauty of Israel, and remembered not his footstool in the day of his anger.
So it says, how have the Lord covered the daughter of Zion with the cloud of his anger? He cast us down unto the earth, the beauty of Israel. He cast down the beauty of us, our glory, our fame. He cast it down. Why did the Lord do these things? Because of our sin, our rebellion, our wickedness.
All right.
Read on.
Verse 2. The Lord hath swallowed up all the inhabitants of Jacob, and had not pity. He hath thrown down in his wrath the strongholds of the daughter of Judah. He hath brought them down to the ground. He hath polluted the kingdom and the princes thereof.
It said the Lord swallowed us up and he ain't have no pity. He was mad as hell because of the level of wickedness that we were involved in, the level of rebelliousness as a people that we were involved in. That he brought us down to the ground. He stripped us from being in heaven, being in rulership, to putting us on the bottom, being a base. He polluted the kingdom and the princes thereof. That's why it ain't no sound judgment within our nation because of our sins. Read verse 3.
Verse 3. He have cut off in his fierce anger all the horns of Israel. He have drawn back his right hand from before the enemy, and he burned against Jacob like a flaming fire, which devours round about.
It said he have cut off in his fierce anger all the horn of Israel. The horn is representation of our strength. He cut off all of our power that we had as a nation. That's why we're on the bottom right now. We ain't got no fight, no might in our hand. Jump down to verse 14.
Yes, sir. Verse 14. The prophets have seen vain and foolish things for thee, and they have not discovered thine iniquity to turn away thy captivity, but have seen for thee false burdens and causes of banishment.
It said, thy prophets have seen vain and foolish things for thee. These prophets, these pastors, these deacons in these churches, they have seen vain lies and foolish things, and they have not discovered our iniquity. They ain't telling us what we going off. In fact, they encouraging us to go off, to celebrate Christmas, to celebrate Mother's Day, Father's Day, Hot Dog Day, Donut Day, Brother Day. They encouraging these things. They are not calling us out when we going off and breaking the Lord's commandments. They're not even teaching the Lord's commandments. They have seen vain and foolish things, but they ain't telling us about it. It said to turn away thy captivity, to change our situation, to get us out of this problematic society that we living in. They ain't doing these things. All they doing is hopping and skipping and telling everybody to put some change in the bucket. But have seen for thee false burdens and causes of banishment. Like I said before, they teaching us to go off so that we can continue to be on the bottom of society, never to be able to truly rise up as a nation. They don't even teach us that we are a nation. They just want the money. Read verse 15.
Verse 15. All that pass by clap their hands at thee. They hiss and wag their heads at the daughter of Jerusalem, saying, is this the city that men call the perfection of beauty, the joy of the whole earth?
And it said, all that passed by, talking about our enemies. Everybody that passed by, they clapping their hands, they shaking their head like, damn, is this what the Lord was talking about? Is this what men call the perfection of beauty? These people?
Making
They
money.
supposed to be above us, huh? They supposed to be above all nations, huh? Read on.
Verse 16. All thine enemies have opened their mouth against thee. They hiss and gnash their teeth. They say, we have swallowed her up. Certainly, this is the day that we look for. We have found, we have seen it.
They clapping their hands, they sucking their teeth, they smiling, they shaking their head, they saying, look at this. This is what we all been waiting for. This is what we've been looking for. When we fell off and was kicked out of our land, when we were sent into captivity, these other nations was licking their chops because they found and thought that they had an opportunity to take over. And that's what's going on now. They said, this is the day that we have looked for, that we have found. We have seen it. Read.
Verse 17. The Lord have done that which he had devised. He have fulfilled his word that he had commanded in the days of old. He have thrown down and have not pity, and he have caused thy enemies to rejoice over thee. He have set the horn of thine adversary.
Give me Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 15.
All
It
right.
said, the Lord have done that which he have devised. He have fulfilled his word which he have commanded in the days of old. What are the days of old? This is what we were reading earlier in Deuteronomy 32:7 when it says, remember the days of old. Consider the years of many generations. What was the Lord? What did he write? What was already devised? What was commanded in the days of old? Let's see that. Let's get Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 15.
Book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 15. It shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
So the fact that the Lord told us that if we broke his commandments, that these curses would be put on us. These are the things that were written in the days of old. It was a promise. It was a covenant made between Israel and the Most High, Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua, that if we broke the commandments, that we would be cursed as a nation of people. And we would not be able to run anywhere to try to escape these curses. But this is what was written. So the Lord had successfully devised the things that was written in the days of old, which were these curses. He put them curses on us when we continue to be rebellious as hell against him. Jump down to verse 632.
All right. Hey, can I bring something out right fast?
Go ahead, King.
On that, going back to Lamentations chapter 2 and 16, when it says, all thine enemies have opened up their mouth against thee. They hiss and gnash their teeth. They say, we have swallowed her up. Certainly, this is the day that we have looked for. We have found, we have seen it. Out the ones who call themselves marching for you in the streets, that the same frame of thought that the ones who down with the Black Lives Matter movement, even though they walking side by side, that's their inward thought. You probably never hear it come out their mouth, but that's what they thinking.
Mm-hmm.
But you said drop down to what verse?
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 32.
Yes, sir. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 32. Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people, and thy eyes shall look and fill with longing for them all the day long, and there shall be no might in thine hand.
So, just like we was talking about in the beginning of the class, it said, thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people, and there shall be no might in thy hand. No might. How you think these people got these kids? Do you think the parent just, or they was able to offer some money, or they just came up and asked the parent, hey, let me get your child? How you think they got these kids? By being good Samaritans? Hell no. Nah. It was part of the system that they created and part of the curses that the Most High put on. All right.
Hey, brother,
Go ahead.
I'm pretty sure it was some black family probably tried to adopt those kids also and would turn them
Right.
down.
You still there?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, but they'll pull strings to make sure that they get the child, like the brother was saying.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But this is a curse that the Lord put on us as a nation of people for being rebellious. He said, thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people, and thine eyes shall look and fail with longing for them all the day long, and there shall be no might in thine hand. Now, this goes back further than what we talking about today. You know, it goes back way further than this. It goes all the way back to the plantation. When our people were, let me see, slavery, what's the word I'm looking for? I just typed in something being sold. There you go, number one picture that pop up. All I said was slaves being sold. And who they pull up? Israelites. They didn't pull up the so-called white man. But everybody be quick to say, everybody went into slavery. All I typed in was slaves being sold, and who popped up? Israelites. So-called black folks. So-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. You see these pictures? So when we bring out the truth, my brothers and sisters, don't be alarmed. Don't be trying to save these other nations. Hey, their own system, Google, is telling you who is who. But the curse said that our sons and daughters would be given unto another people, and we wouldn't have no might in our hand. Look at this sister right here. She on her knees begging. They got a baby in her hand. Look at this. Nothing that we could possibly do. How does this happen today? Through Child Protective Services, or DHR. This is how it happens today. And I'm going to show you a quick clip to show you exactly what I mean.
Hello, Miss Reed, right?
Who wants to know?
I'm with Family and Children Services. I'm here on behalf of the city to conduct a welfare
Family
check.
and Children Services.
Yes, ma'am. I'm here to conduct a welfare check on your son,
Aquarius.
Now, somebody sent them to their house. Somebody sent them folks to their house.
Oh, yes.
Get in here. See, y'all got me fucked up.
Oh, ma'am, I just need a few moments to speak with you.
Did you call the police on me?
No.
Oh, Miss Reed, the police are just here as a precaution.
Take them. Go ahead.
Mom.
Since you want to go so bad, bye.
No, I didn't call nobody.
You know what?
Mom. Mom. I didn't call nobody.
I ain't giving you all these clothes that I bought. I better take this boy before I kill him.
So wait.
Now, this scene was out of this show. Yeah, I'm sure a lot of us are familiar with it. It's a show called Atlanta. And this was an episode on that series called Three Slaps, but it was actually taking part from an actual incident that took place in real life. All right, bear with me. Let me put it back on the screen. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Bear with me, Israel. There you go. All right. That video was actually something going into a situation that happened not too long ago, back in 2018, I believe. It was, I'll just read the article a little bit. It says Jennifer Hart. Can you read that, King?
Mm-hmm. Jennifer Hart drove her 6 children to the death as her wife looked up how much they would suffer, as jury says.
All right. Where's the picture? This is the family right here. All right. In that scene I just showed you earlier, let me see where it is. This scene right here. In life, in the scene before that played, the boy was getting in trouble at school. So the teacher, which was this woman, she actually called the parents and saying that the boy was cutting up at school. So the parents came to the school and they disciplined the boy at the school, you know, making him do crazy dances. That's what they showed in the video. But they disciplined the boy at the school. And the teacher looked at it and said, "Oh, we can't stand for that." So she told the boy, "Hey, we're going to get you out of there." So she sent people to the child protective services to that boy house to get him removed out of that household. And then they adopted him. But it just so happened that these individuals happen to be lesbians. 2 lesbian Edomite, so-called white women, adopting these black kids, so-called black, these Israelites. But as the article states, read that again, King.
Jennifer Hart drove her 6 children to their death as her wife looked up how much they would suffer, a jury said.
All right. So it says a drunk Jennifer Hart drove her 6 adopted children in their family SUV. Her wife, Sarah, sat in the passenger seat looking up different ways to unalive somebody, to end a life. You see that? So this was a drunk driver. The one driving the car was drunk, and the wife, Sarah, sat in the passenger seat looking up different ways to do that, to end a life. But they got these people, kids, that they didn't actually went and lied to get to adopt them. This is actually something that took place. Ruined their life. Had these kids believing they was living a good life. Snatched our kids. This is part of the curses that the Lord was talking about in Deuteronomy chapter 28:32. Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people, and thine eyes shall look and fail with longing for them all the day long. And there shall be no might in thy hand. We ain't got no might to fight this system, this court system. You know, they say you need money to fight. But even if you got the money, if we got the money, they still got loopholes to go around the amount of money that we have to be able to jam us up and get what they want. This is a curse that the Lord put on us as a nation of people for being rebellious. Let's read a little bit more into this. Let's see. It said the SUV carrying the Hart family would drive off a 100-foot Pacific Coast cliff on that day in March last year. A tragedy police say took all 8 lives and sparked questions about abuse and homicide. So not only did they take the lives of the kids, but the driver and the passenger took their life as well. As the car was in motion, Sarah was busy with the searches. How easily can I overdose on over-the-counter medications? Can 500 milligrams of Benadryl kill a 125-pound woman? How long does it take to die from hypothermia while drowning in a car? One of our last searches was for a no-kill dog shelter. See, this is what these women were searching for.
Right.
But they didn't ruin and snatch these kids from somebody else's family. But now they on there looking on ways to kill themselves and take the lives of others. Said they intended to unalive their 6 children, jury finds. The horrifying details emerged Thursday after a coroner's jury unanimously ruled that Jennifer and Sarah Hart intended to die along with their 6 adopted children. Marcus, who was 19, Jeremiah and Abigail, both 14, Devontae, 15, Hannah, 16, and Sierra was 12. So these kids was teenagers that they basically took into captivity and unalived. Now, what is the reason why they did it? The article doesn't state. But I just wanted to bring that up to show you. Let me see. Unable to load. All right. It said the driver got intoxicated to build her courage up to do that. The coroner's inquest gave more insight into what led Jennifer and Sarah to end the lives of all 8 Harts. So they did an autopsy and found out that woman had alcohol all in her blood. She was drunk.
They just couldn't kill themselves. They wanted to kill all the kids with them. They could have just killed themselves. They could have left the kids at the house and killed themselves, but you Esau want to take out everybody.
It says, the theory is that she drank to build up her courage, Slate said. My feeling is based on talking to witnesses that they felt if they couldn't have those kids, no one was going to have those kids, Slate says. It says the kids sought help in the middle of the night. Days before the family died in the crash, Child Protective Services in Washington requested a welfare check on the family. But no one answered the door on March 26th. The family was already gone. Calls to the police began just 2 years after the Harts became parents while they were living in Minnesota. They were first called in 2008 when one child told an adult that Jennifer struck the child in the arm, but the state closed the case claiming the child fell. Wow. After another call in 2011, Sarah Hart pleaded guilty to domestic assault. After admitting to police, she bruised her child by spanking her over the edge of a bathtub. And so on and so on. Let's see. So it looks like these kids were getting ready to get stripped from them the same way they were stripped from their original parents, and they wasn't having it. Now, the question would be, why do these individuals even want to adopt our kids? Possibly the same reason these folks did. All right. This is something that happened, I believe, last year or the year before last. It says a white West Virginia couple accused of adopting black children and forcing them to work as slaves. It was like Gianna White Feather, 62, and Donald Lance, 63, are accused of adopting 5 black children from a shelter and making them to do farm labor. All right. Can you read that, King?
Yeah.
All right.
You ready? A West Virginia couple are charged with human trafficking, child neglect, forced labor, and more after prosecution. They adopted 5 black children from the shelter to forced labor and live in deplorable conditions.
So they adopted these kids, saying they was living in a bad situation, but they adopted them to have them do forced labor in a deplorable condition. Read.
Gene Whitefelder, 62, and Donald Lance, 63, are accused of adopting the children ages 6 to 16, shelter for homeless and vulnerable youth, targeting them for forced labor specifically because of their race, according to the 16 count indictment.
So they got her indicted with 16 counts. This is the woman that you see right here. Read.
It alleges human trafficking, human rights violation, the use of forced labor. Kanawha County Circuit Judge Mary Claire Akers said of the indictment, according to West Virginia Metro News, human rights violations specific to the fact that these children were targeted because of their race and they were used basically as slaves from what the indictment alleges.
All right. Let's see. Let's scroll down a little bit. Yeah, read this right here.
All
Damn.
right.
Starting with the children.
All right. The children had no means to exit the barn on their own. No running water, no bathroom facilities, and were obviously deprived of adequate hygiene, care, and food. The sheriff's department said in a statement at the time. It said that then found they then found a small child locked inside the main home alone. The two
Read.
the 2 children in the barn, ages 14 and 16, said they had been locked inside for about 12 hours when they were found and were forced to sleep on the bare concrete floor. According to the indictment, court documents said that the children were dirty and had strong body odor, and that the 14-year-old had open sores on his bare feet.
See that? So these kids was locked in this little barn area right here, sleeping on the concrete floor. Didn't have, let me see what it said. No running water, no bathroom facilities, and deprived of adequate hygienic care and food. Being locked in there for hours. All right. Got open sores on their feet. All right. Let's see. Read
Hey,
on. Go ahead,
okay.
King.
No, I was about to say, in order for them to keep those kids in that kind of condition, they had to be around nothing but a bunch of other Edomites in the area, because they probably wouldn't been able to pull that off, and maybe a mixed area where it's black people and white people. They got those children out there isolated amongst their people. That's how
Mm-hmm.
they get away with it.
That's right. Read it from neighbors also reported.
All right. Neighbors also reported that the children were forced to perform farm labor and were not permitted inside the residence. West Virginia Metro News reported citing the filing. During
So
the
just like the brother was saying, they had to be living in a neighborhood with the same type folks, you know, because they was watching and they was paying attention to what was going on. So they knew that them kids wasn't even allowed in the house. So they had them locked outside with no running water. They ain't had no bathroom or none of that out there. They didn't give them sufficient food. What does that remind you of? Us on the plantation. All right. Let me see. Said a couple first posted their combined $400,000 bail, but a judge ruled this month that the bail was too low and raised their bonds to $500,000 each. Said prosecutors said they believe the couple paid the initial bond through money they made from human trafficking at their Washington and West Virginia homes, which they have since sold. So they had multiple homes, been doing this, you know. And it's not like they snatched the child; they adopted these kids. You know what I'm saying? And this is all set up by the system that we all know that's up and running, the adoption agency. But they say it's adoption. It's really another form of human trafficking when you think about it. So going back to what we were talking about beforehand, seeing this all the time. Why is it that you would see that? What's the mindset behind it? The psychology. What's the psychology, the study of the mindset behind it? Say the psychology of white parents adopting black children can include a variety of factors such as cultural assimilation, color blindness, and racism. Cultural assimilation, color blindness, and racism. These things take place just like we were talking about in the beginning of the class. And I know that everybody who has seen it has seen this before. See the black child, the Israelite child, growing up in that household, and they look at their own people, they look at their own kind with a crazy mindset. They look at us strange, but look at them as this is where they're supposed to be. This is part of that cultural assimilation, that color blindness and racism. Our people being raised out of the natural order of things. Let me get Sirach chapter 13 right quick. Book of Ecclesiasticus chapter 13. We're going to go to verse 15. Sirach chapter 13, verse 15 and 16. You got it? Your mic on mute.
All right, the book of Ecclesiasticus chapter 13, verse 15. Every beast loveth his like, and every man loveth his neighbor. Verse 16. All flesh consort according to kind, and a man will cleave to his like.
So the Lord said, every beast loveth his like, and every man loveth his neighbor. So this is why people tend to gravitate toward their own people. It was designed to be that way. All flesh consorteth according to kind. So this is why when you go to a new job or you go to a new school as an Israelite, what do you tend to sit? Who do you tend to gravitate towards more often than none? Your own kind.
Mm-hmm.
He said, and a man will cleave to his like. The Lord designed it to be that way. But what Esau turns around and do is tries to switch or change the natural order of things. Just like they do in the animal kingdom. They don't go get grown lions or bears. They don't go get grown bears and lions from the wild. What they will do is capture it and then wait for the offspring and then train up the offspring in the manner that they want them to be in.
Mm-hmm.
Read verse 17.
Verse 17. What fellowship have the wolf with the lamb? So the sinner with the godly.
What fellowship do the wolf have with the lamb? The wolf was designed to chase and eat the lamb. So the lamb is not going to be kicking it with the thing that was created to eat it, to devour it.
Right.
So is the sinner with the godly. They don't go together. It don't go together. But the Lord is saying all flesh consort with his kind. Whether evil with evil, righteous with righteous. You know what I'm saying? So our people need to understand we're supposed to be amongst our own people. These other nations are not supposed to be raising our people. For one, they ain't gonna know the struggles that we go through. They ain't gonna be able to teach our people the things that they need to. Plus, they are the wicked that the Bible speaks of. So they can't teach our people anything good. Yeah,
Right.
you can buy them some clothes, you can feed them, you can even send them to college. That don't mean that you're doing right by them.
Right.
You know? Give me Sirach chapter 26, excuse me. Sirach 26. Sirach chapter 26, verse 19. And we're gonna read that to 21.
All right. The book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 26, verse 19. My son, keep the flower of thine age sound, and give not thy strength to strangers.
It said, don't give our strength to strangers. Part of our strength as a nation of people is our children. We're not supposed to be giving our kids up, especially to the other nations. Read.
Verse 20. When thou have gotten a fruitful possession through all the field, sow it with thine own seed, trusting in the goodness of thy stock.
And this is going into another topic, but we supposed to be laying down and producing and reproducing, multiplying with our own people. Sow thy seed with thine own seed, trusting in the goodness of thy stock. Read. So that what?
Verse 21. So thy race which thou leavest, so thy race which thou leavest shall be magnified, having the confidence of their good descent.
So we're supposed to be doing it with our race, our people, so that it will be magnified, multiplied. That's why we're supposed to stick with our own kind. The Lord set it up that way. You don't see lions out there laying down with tigers, producing kids. They're not going to do that. That's not the natural order of things. Now, Esau turn around and breed them.
Right. That's what I just
That's
about to say.
Esau being wicked. That's where you'll get animals like, let me see. What they
The liger.
right. This is what you get, a liger. You know, they do the same thing with what they call that plum kite or something like that. They breed the fruits. This is not the natural order of things. A plum kite. What is that? A plot. They doing the same thing with the fruits. They mix the fruits. That's not natural. Do it with the animals. That's not natural. And they doing it with our people. That's not natural. The Lord said we're supposed to sow our seed with our own, trusting in the goodness of our stock, not trying to be like everybody else, trying to blend and mix with them. For what? That's polluting our race. That's watering down us as a nation. But let's go back to the psychology. It was talking about color blindness, cultural assimilation, racism, can lead to children identifying with more than with the majority culture, meaning following the ways of the world, because that's what they push here in this society. We're all one. We're all the same. That's what they're looking for when they raise the kids up. Color blindness, a view of humanity that doesn't consider race or ethnicity. That's foolishness.
Right.
They raise the kids up thinking, hey, color of your skin don't matter. Your race don't matter.
Hey,
It's about your merit. Ain't that what they did by removing the DEI? We're going to do everything based on merit now? Yeah, sure. What'd you say, King?
have them living in a fantasy world.
Mm-hmm. What it said can be a way for white parents to avoid acknowledging racism. I'm not a racist. I have black children. I have black friends. Racism. White parents may not be aware of the racism that impacts their child. They don't realize it because they don't see it. They may not learn how to resist white supremacy. Let me show a quick video right quick. All right.
Hey, let me ask you a question though. Not that we should do it, but imagine how hard it would be for two black women to adopt 5, 6 white kids.
Right.
That would not happen in the United States.
I mean, how many times do you actually see the male and female, Israelite male and female, adopting or being able to adopt an Edomite or a Moabite?
Right.
It happens, but you don't see it on a large scale like you see with us.
Right.
This is a clip out of that movie that Colin Kaepernick had put out a while back on Netflix. And he was going through telling his life story because he was adopted by some Edomites. And this is a scene that's going to show you and demonstrate to you exactly what we just read, how they didn't understand what he was going through.
What was the reason for the stop, officer?
Who are you?
His father.
He's adopted.
Oh, he was going a little fast. Slow down.
You dodged a bullet.
Yeah. You just beat your first ticket.
Can I get $1? I got a water.
I'm sorry. Is this man bothering you?
He is, but there's not much we can do about it. He's our son.
Okay. Adopted. Of course. My church has a foster kids program. I think about getting one all the time. Bless your hearts.
Did you hear what she said?
You know.
My church has one of those programs. I've been thinking about getting one for quite some time now. Like she getting a pet. But you see how she ran up on him saying, is this man bothering you? All he was doing was saying, can I get $1 so I can get some water? But that's how they wouldn't understand the racism.
Let me know if you need anything.
That lady downstairs, she just rolls up on me and jabs me in the back.
That really what's bothering you?
Sometimes I just feel uncomfortable.
Oh, keep your hands where I could see them.
He's just
You see how they drew down, how the cop drew down on him?
Mm-hmm.
He's just trying to get a permit. He practicing trying to get his license. But they don't realize what he's going through. They think it's just a joke, it's a game. The cop ain't had to do that.
Trying to show you his permit.
Nice and easy.
What was the reason for the stop, officer?
Who are you?
His father.
He's adopted.
Well, he was going a little fast. Slow
You see how she explained that real quick? He's adopted. He should have been able to understand that anyway. But she had to point that out immediately.
Hey,
They don't understand what's going on. She had to give up her excuse as to why he's in the car with them. Why y'all calling him son? He's adopted.
down.
You dodged a bullet.
Yeah.
You dodged the bullet.
You just beat your first ticket.
You just beat your first ticket. That man grabbed his gun. He wasn't thinking about no damn ticket.
I got $1. I got a water.
I'm sorry, is this man bothering you?
He is, but there's not much we can do about it. He's our son.
Okay, adopted. Of course. My church has a foster kids program. I think about getting one all the time. Bless your hearts. Let me know if you need anything.
Now, why would they want to go get one? Think about getting one all the time. Why would they want to adopt us? Why not go have your own, or why not adopt your own kind? Why are you trying to get our kids? Think about that. Let me put some back on the screen right quick. It says, let me go back. I looked into it just to look into a few stats on it, just to see why would they be wanting to do these things. It says statistics of white parents adopting black children are limited, but there is evidence of systematic bias in the U.S. adoption system that disadvantages black children. In 2017 to 2019, 28% of all adoptions were transracial, with 90% of those involving white parents adopting children of different race. So in that 2-year span, it was a lot of Edomites adopting other people, other races of kids. It said black children make up 22% of children awaiting adoption, but prospective adoptive parents, 77% of whom are white, most often choose to adopt non-black children. So they say. All right. So a lot of different things go into them adopting our people. One of the main things I wanted to figure out was why. Why do parents even go through the struggle of trying to adopt? Especially when they fully capable of doing it, them creating kids on their own. And it's always for some type of gain. It says adoptive parents may receive financial assistance. That's money, tax credits, and other benefits, including adoption subsidiaries, which is monthly payments and reimbursement for related costs, Medicaid, adoption, tax credits, what else? Counseling, therapy, tutoring, other supports. Let's see, court costs, travel expenses, and special equipment. You get reimbursed for that. Exclusion from income for employer-provided adoption assistance. So they get benefits all the way around. And they get paid for adopting the kids. So it would only make sense for these individuals to go and adopt our kids. There's more of them available, and there's something else that I found out. It says no adoptive parents generally do not get more for adopting black children. In fact, due to racial bias in the adoption system, black children often have the lower adoption costs because they are harder to place in homes compared to white children, meaning agencies may lower fees to incentivize adoption. And I didn't know that you had to pay money to adopt a child. So just by doing a little research, you find out that you have to pay to adopt a child. But being that so-called black kids, black children, and they saying it's harder for them to find homes to live in, they tend to lower the fees for people to try to adopt them. So they lower the fee, just like in our neighborhoods, the houses, the fees are lowered so that more people are able to get it, move in. But what do they get? They get all type of assistance, financial assistance, tax credits, and other benefits by getting our kids. Even though they say generally do not get more, they do. It says adoption fees can vary depending on the type of adoption and the country where the child is located. Legal fees, home studies, travel, and medical expenses. Costs can range from $30,000 to $60,000. Independent, let me see, private agency, independent adoption. So it got different levels to this with private agencies, independent adoptions, international adoptions. Foster care adoption costs can be as little as $2,500. And they go in passport and visa fees, donations and escort fee, all of these fees. I did not know that all of this went into adopting a child.
Me neither.
So you turn around and you pay to adopt a child, but at the same time, you get paid by the government, from the government, to have that child. So rather than going and spending $30,000 to $60,000 to get an Edomite, they'll go get an Israelite at a lower price and still get the same benefit as having an Edomite with the tax credits and the federal funding. Not even understanding truly what's going on. All right. Where do I want to go with this?
Hey, brother.
Go ahead.
I guarantee you, if there was no money involved, they wouldn't be trying to adopt those kids at all. Like you said,
no.
it's all a money scheme.
Oh, yeah. Don't nobody do anything for free.
Right.
I mean, you can't even get your brother or sister to go down the street and get you something to eat. They gonna be like, what's in it for me?
Mm-hmm.
Can I get a hamburger? Can I get some fries? So you know damn well they ain't gonna take on nobody else's child without being compensated. But this is all part of the curse that the Most High put on us as a people for being rebellious. That our kids, our children will be given into another people, and there will be no might in thine hand. Just like it wasn't back in the day during on the plantation. They would sell our kids off, break up the family, send a child that direction to that plantation, send the mama here, send the father here. No might in thine hand. But what I wanted to move on to next was this guy right here who name was Harry Harlow. Can you read it?
Mm-hmm. Harry Frederick Harlow. Yes, he was born October 31st, 1905 through December 6th, 1981. He was an American psychologist best known for his maternal separation, dependency needs, and social isolation experiments on what is that? Racist monkey, which manifested the importance of caregiving and companionship to social and cognitive development.
So he was a psychologist. All right. Psychology is the scientific study of the human mind and its functions, especially those affecting behavior in a given context. So he studies the mind, the functions of the mind. This is what this man did. Harry Harlow, he actually came up with this experiment that you can see the effects of it today in society. All right. Let me put this video on the screen right quick.
Let me show you a monkey raised on a nursing wire mother. Now here are 106's two mothers. As you can see, it was weaned on a wire mother. Here's baby 106.
He said baby 106. So they got several of these different monkeys, these raised monkeys that they experimenting on.
Watch.
He's going to the wire mother.
He's got to eat to live.
Oh, he's going back.
He's back on the cloth mother, and he'll stay on the cloth mother. Actually, this baby spends from 17 to 18 hours a day on the cloth mother and less than 1 hour a day on the wire mother. We had predicted that the variable of contact comfort would be a variable of measurable importance, but we were unprepared to find that it completely overwhelmed and overshadowed all other variables, including those of nursing.
Frankly, Doctor, if it comes to a choice between wire and cloth, it's reasonable to expect that any child will go to the cloth. It's a matter of creature comfort, like a baby with its blanket. But is this really love?
Well, what do you mean by saying that a baby loves its mother? Certainly one thing we mean is that it gets a great feeling of security in the presence of the mother. Now, Mr. Collingwood, wouldn't you say that if you frightened a baby, that it went running to its mother, was comforted, and then all the fear disappeared and was replaced by a complete sense of security that that baby loved its mother? Now, in this experiment, this is the apparatus we use.
That looks diabolical.
That's just the way the baby monkey feels about it. Flashing eyes, loud sound, moving mechanical parts, all of these things are designed to frighten a monkey. Now here we have a peaceful, resting baby monkey. Let's find out what his reactions to his mother are when we frighten him.
He's scared, all right.
And he does what any child will do in a similar situation.
He runs away.
It's more than running away. He was running to his mother, to touch her, to drive away his fear. Contact with the mother changes his entire personality. Look, now he's actually threatening the diabolical object. All right. This gives us part of the picture of the strength of infantile love. This is a 6-foot square room with a few toys and other objects.
This is just going to show you how deep Esau will go with their thinking to figure out how to destroy. You know, let me get Psalms chapter 64, verse 1. Psalms chapter 64, verse 1. Going into how they monitoring this monkey to see the different effects on how to control it or how it operates when put in a scary situation or dealing with the two mothers, surrogate mothers, you know, where it finds comfort at. All of these things are done to study the human mind. And don't think that they are not using these things to study us as well. But bring that out right quick, King.
The book of
Psalm chapter 64.
Psalm chapter 64, verse 1. Hear my voice, O God, in my prayer. Preserve my life from fear of the enemy.
Read down, read the 6.
Okay. Verse 2. Hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity.
So
Verse,
David was saying, hide me from the counsel of the wicked, from the workers of iniquity. Read.
verse 3. Who whet their tongue like a sword, and bend their bows to shoot their arrows, even bitter words.
Who wet their tongue, who sharpen their tongue like a sword. Read.
Verse 4. They that may shoot a secret at the perfect, suddenly do they shoot at him, and fear not.
They shooting at the perfect. They shooting at the Israelites. We are the only ones that can be considered perfect, and that's by keeping these commandments. Just like Noah was, just like Abraham was, just like Yahushua was. Perfect. They shoot at the perfect in secret. Read.
Verse 5. They encourage themselves in an evil matter. They commune of laying snares privily. They say, who shall see them?
They encourage themselves in an evil matter. Now, he might have the white lab coat on. He might even have a name tag that say doctor on it. But secretly, they communing and laying snares privately, trying to figure out how to entrap us as a nation of people. And they say, who shall see us? We in the lab. Who gonna see us? Read.
They search out iniquities. They accomplish a great diligent search, both the inward thought of every one of them, and the heart is deep.
They said they search out iniquity. They searching it out, trying to figure out how to go harder against the Lord, how to have his people going off. They accomplished a diligent search, meaning a passionate search, diligently. Both the inward thought of every one of them, not one, not two, not half. It said every one of them, and the heart is deep. So their thoughts are deep. We're not capturing monkeys and seeing what makes it tick. How would it react if it had a mother that's made out of iron and another one that's got cloth wrapped around it? Which one would it run to? Which one would it spend its time with? How it feels secure? What makes it afraid? We're not doing all that.
Right.
Not that we ain't capable, but the thoughts of them, the workers of iniquity, the thoughts of even every one of them is deep. Every last one of them, their thoughts is deep. Just like we always bring out, we'll look up at the sky and say, hey, that's a nice blue right there. Or you see the sun setting, we say, hey, the Most High is a great artist. But they looking at it, they saying, I wonder what molecules made the sky turn that color. At what angle was the sun at to get the color of the sky to change like that? How was the air? They want to know everything. Their thoughts is deep. Not that they smarter or better than us. It's just their thoughts go so deep to the point where it's going to destroy them at the end. Read 7 and 8 right quick. Just to prove.
But God shall shoot at them with an arrow. Suddenly shall they be wounded.
Most High gonna shoot back at them. Read.
Verse 8. So they shall make their way, so they shall make their own tongue to fall upon themselves. All that see them shall flee away.
Most High gonna hit them back where they start falling upon their own self. That's what they call whistleblowers. They gonna be doing so much wickedness that some of their own people gonna be like, man, that's wicked as hell, man. I got to say something about that. They gonna blow the whistle, and then people gonna start running away from them, fleeing away from them because of the thoughts and the wicked deeds that they do. Go to Proverbs chapter 4 right quick.
Yes, sir.
Let's go to Proverbs chapter 4, and we're going to go to verse 14 and read that to 17.
Proverbs 4, 14 through 17. Book of Proverbs, chapter 4, verse 14. Enter not into the path of the wicked, and go not in the way of evil men. Verse 15. Avoid it, pass not by it, turn around from it, and pass away. For the sleep, for they sleep not, except they have done mischief, and their sleep is taken away unless they have caused some to fall. Verse 17. For they eat the bread of the wickedness and drink the wine of violence.
You see that? The Lord said, enter not into the path of the wicked and go not into the way of evil men. That's what we have to consider and know about as a nation of people. We got to know that there's some good and some evil individuals on this earth, and it ain't always the one that present themselves to be good. You know, you got to prove individuals. But in society, he's telling us, in the scriptures, he tells us who our enemies are, who are the wicked. He tells us don't go in their way, don't follow their ways. Avoid it, pass not by it, turn from it and pass away. For they, meaning the wicked, sleep not, except they have done mischief, and their sleep is taken away unless they cause something to fall. Think about how deep that is right there. They can't even sleep at night until they have came up with a plan to cause our people to fall, cause somebody to fall.
Right.
Other than if they can't do that, they gonna be having sleepless nights. For they eat the bread of wickedness and drink the wine of violence. That's why you see what's going on in this world going on right now, because the wicked is in rulership, according to Job 9 and 24. But we trusting in it. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 30, verse 14. Isaiah 30 and 12 right quick.
All right. Hey, that's why in Malachi 1 and 4 it called on the board of wickedness. The of wickedness.
You know what? Go to Revelation chapter 12.
All right.
Because what we actually going through is written in the scriptures. Let's go to Revelation chapter 12, verse 1.
Book of Revelation chapter 12, verse 1. And there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun, and the moon under her feet, and under her head a crown of 12 stars.
Now, this is going into talking about Israel. All right. But just to prove that even more, let me go to Genesis chapter 37 right quick. I'm going to leave it right there. Let me go to Genesis chapter 37. This is actually going into a dream that Joseph had. Let's go to, let me see. Started verse 9. Genesis chapter 37, verse 9.
Genesis chapter 37 and verse 9. And he dreamed yet another dream and told it his brother and said, Behold, I have dreamed a dream more. And behold, the sun and the moon and the 11 stars made obeisance to me. Verse 10. And he told it to his father and to his brethren, and his father rebuked him and said unto him, What is this dream that thou hast dreamed? Shall I and thy mother and thy brother indeed come to bow down ourselves to thee unto the earth?
You see that? So this was a dream that Joseph had in Genesis, talking about what was referred to in Revelation, about the woman, meaning Israel, the sun and the moon, meaning the father and the mother, and the 12 tribes, the 11 stars, were the other tribes and Joseph, making the 12 tribes. 12 stars. You see that? So they were bowing down, basically. Going back, it said, and there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars, talking about Zion, talking about Israel as that woman. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 54 right quick, just to prove that Israel is that woman that we're talking about. Go to Isaiah chapter 54. Isaiah chapter 54. That the Lord looks at us as his wife. Isaiah chapter 54, verse 5 and 6.
All right. Isaiah chapter 54, verse 5. For thy maker is thine husband, the Lord of hosts is his name, and thy Redeemer, the Holy One of Israel, the God of the whole earth shall he be called. Verse 6.
So the creator of all things is our husband. All right. Read.
Verse 6. For the Lord hath called thee as a woman forsaken and grieved in the spirit, and a wife of youth, when thou hast refused, saith thy God.
You see that? Showing you right there that the Lord considers us to be the wife of the youth. All right, let me give you another reference right quick. Let's go to Jeremiah chapter 3, verse 1. Now, you might be wondering, how does this all tie in? Just bear with me. We're going to get to it. Let's go to the book of Jeremiah chapter 3, verse 1. Another reference showing you how the Most High considers Israel, the nation of Israel, to be in the form of a woman or a wife.
The book of Jeremiah chapter 3, verse 1. They say, if a man put away his wife, and she go from him, and become another man's, shall he return unto her again? Shall
Stop.
not.
Now, he's asking a question right there because in the law, that's not permitted. If a man was married to a woman and he gave her a bill of divorcement and she went and married another man and he divorced her, she would not be able to go back to their first husband because the land would be polluted. Let me get that right quick. Duplicate that. I think it's in Deuteronomy 24, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 24, verse 1. When a man have taken a wife and married her, and it come to pass that she find no favor in his eyes, because he have found some cleanness in her, then let him write her a bill of divorcement and give it in her hand and send her out of his house. And when she is departed out of his house, she may go and be another man's wife. And if the latter husband hate her and write her a bill of divorcement and give it in her hand and send her out of his house, or if the latter husband die, which took her to be his wife, her former husband, which sent her away, may not take her again to be his wife. After that, she is defiled, for that is an abomination before the Lord. And thou shalt not cause the land to sin, which the Lord thy God giveth thee for an inheritance. So right there, that's letting us know that once we have been married and they divide and separate and go off and be with another man, she can't come back to their husband. So let's go back to Jeremiah and read that again. Jeremiah chapter 3, verse 1. Jeremiah chapter 3, verse 1.
Okay. Book of Jeremiah chapter 3 and verse 1. They say, if a man put away his wife, and she go from him and become another man's, shall he return to her again? Shall not the land be greatly polluted? But thou hast played the harlot with the many lovers, yet return again to me. Said the Lord.
You see that? The Lord is referring to us as a woman who went to another man, went to other lovers. But he said, yet return again to me, saith the Lord. We played the harlot with many lovers as a nation, being rebellious, following the ways of the heathen. All right. But going back to Revelation. So we understand now that that woman is Israel. All right. Read 2 and 3. Just 2.
What chapter?
Revelation 12 and 2.
Book of Revelation, chapter 12, verse 2. And she being with child cried, travailing in birth, and pain to be delivered. Verse 3.
Being with child cried, travailing in birth, and pain to be delivered. That's us. But it was talking about when Christ was being born, and then travailing in birth, pain to be delivered. That's us as a nation now, in pain, waiting to be delivered. All right. Let's see here. Jump down to where I wanted to go with that. Verse 9.
Revelation chapter 12, verse 9. And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him.
So once again, when you read the book of Revelation, I didn't state this beforehand, but it's not as it is exactly written. It's a book of allegory, similitudes. You know, like this great dragon is talking about that serpent that was in the beginning with Eve, with Adam and Eve. That great dragon, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, the deceiver. He deceived Eve in the beginning, and he's still been doing it. That's his job, to deceive. The tempter, which deceiveth the whole world. So Satan has deceived the whole world. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. Now, it ain't talking about like Esau presented, like he was thrown out of heaven and angels fell down with him. No, that ain't the case. That's just a fairy tale that they push out in society to have us confused, so we don't understand what's going on. But his angels is actually the border of wickedness. That would be these other nations, mainly Esau, that he uses to try to deceive the world. All right, read on.
All right, verse 10. And I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, now is come salvation and strength and the kingdom of our God and the power of his Christ. For the accuser of the brethren is cast down, which accused them before our God day and night.
You see, this is future prophecy. This ain't happened yet, you know. For the accuser of our brethren is cast down. Esau's still in rulership. He ain't cast down right now. Which accused them before our God day and night. Day and night. They still on top right now. They haven't been cast down. Read.
Verse 11. And they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony. And they loved not their lives unto the death.
And it's talking about us, the saints, how we would overcome the serpent, Satan, by the blood of the Lamb, which is Yahushua, Christ, by the word of their testimony, that they love not their lives unto death. Just like Christ said, greatly paraphrasing, those who love their life or would lose their life for my sake, would gain their life. Greatly paraphrasing. But we overcome the wickedness of this world, the accuser, by the blood of the Lamb, by living by the testimony, by keeping these commandments and having the faith, even up to the point of giving our lives unto death. Read verse 12.
Verse 12. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe unto the inhabitants of the earth and the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he have but a short time.
And this is going into why you see Esau doing all the madness and wickedness that you see going on right now, because you know he got but a short time to be in rulership. That's why he doing all this madness, all creating all this confusion, because he know that he only got a short time. All right, read on.
Verse 13. And when the dragon saw that he was cast unto the earth, he which brought forth the man child.
And that goes back to Herod when he was trying to persecute and kill, put Christ to death. Read.
And to the woman were given 2 wings of a great eagle, that she might fly into the wilderness, into her place, where she is nourished for a time, and the times and a half a time, from the face of the serpent.
So we're going into how we as a nation of people would be nourished by the serpent. And that's just like what we were watching in that video with the Harry Harlow guy, being nursed by the serpent. Just like we've been showing in the beginning, being nursed by the serpent for a time and a Shalaki Israel. I don't know where the hiccups came. It said, read that again, verse 14.
Yes, sir. Verse 14. And to the woman were given 2 wings of a great eagle, that she might fly into the wilderness, into her place, where she is nourished for a time and times and a half a time, from the face of the serpent.
All right, so we'll be nourished from the face of the serpent. And that's exactly what's happening here in Babylon the Great. We over here being nourished by the serpent. They feeding us with all type of lies, foolishness, and defiled foods, teaching us lies. We living in lies. We practicing lies, teaching lies, and being nourished by this serpent. All right. I wanted to go into it a little bit more, but let's go to Daniel chapter 7, verse 25 right quick. Just to show about that, how the wicked, or how Esau would speak great words and wear out the saints. Daniel chapter 7, verse 25.
The book of Daniel, chapter 7, verse 25. And he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and think to change times and laws, and they shall be given into his hand until a time and times and the dividing of time.
So this is what Revelation was going into, how we will be nursed by the face of the serpent. All right. We will be given into this man's hand, into Esau's hand, unto a time and times and dividing of time. And Esau said he will speak great words against the Most High and shall wear out the saints. Who are the saints? The Israelites, according to Psalm chapter 148, verse 14. And think to change times and laws. So this man not only would try to put himself in a position to be like the Most High, but he would start trying to change times and laws. And at the same time, he'll be wearing us out through captivity for a time and times and a dividing of time. And that's why Revelation said he knoweth that he had but a short time. Going back to Revelation chapter 12, verse 12. All right. So I wanted to kind of bring that together and correlate it to how our people are actually being raised in a household, the same way we as a nation are being raised in a kingdom, being nourished by the face of the serpent. They think they're doing something good, and we think that they are doing something good by helping to nourish us, by giving us food stamps, by giving us welfare, by giving us so-called education. We are being nourished by the face of the serpent. We're being lied to. And we really being involved in a whole lot of spiritual wickedness. And we loving these chains of oppression to the point where we don't even think that we being oppressed no more. Let me get that Isaiah chapter 30 right quick. Isaiah chapter 30. Still there, King?
Yes, sir.
Let me get Isaiah chapter 30 right quick. We're going to go to verse 12 and 13.
All right. Book of Isaiah chapter 30, verse 12. Wherefore thus saith the Holy One of Israel, because ye despise this word and trust in oppression and perverseness and stay thereon.
You see that the Lord say we trust in oppression. Read.
Verse 13. Therefore this iniquity shall be to you as a breach ready to fall, swelling out in a high wall, whose breaking cometh suddenly at an instant.
You see that our sins is just like having a breach or a hole in a wall or like a hole in a dam. It's going to continue to swell out in a high wall whose breaking cometh suddenly at an instant. You have a hole in a dam or a brick wall with water behind it. Eventually, it's going to break, just like it did down there in New Orleans with Katrina years back. You have just a little hole, it's going to continue to build, and eventually it's going to bust that wall down. Why? Because we trust in oppression. Wherefore, thus saith the Holy One of Israel, because you despise this word. We as a nation despise his word. The 2/3 despise his word. The other nation despise his word and trust in oppression and perverseness and stay thereon. We can show them the facts. We can show them every day new facts. Show them the stats. They don't want to hear it. They despise the word of the Lord. They say, I'm going to do what the hell I want to do. That book is your interpretation. That's your book. There ain't no God. Or he loves everybody. The commandments are done away with. Nah, we trust in oppression. We trust in oppression. We think that this is liberty right here. This is freedom. This is living. Nah, this is oppression. Chains of oppression to our people. And it should make everybody mad when they see this. How the hell did these folks end up with our children? And they looking at us like we wrong for looking at them sideways. Why you got our kids? If you hate us so much, why you got our kids? Why you trying to raise our folks? What was that? I forgot where I was at. Yeah. We trust in oppression. All right. But I'm gonna try to wind down right quick. We almost out of here. Let me go to Isaiah chapter 5, verse 20.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 5, verse 20. Woe unto them that call evil good and good evil, that put darkness for light and light for darkness, that put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter.
So we got to realize that the Lord say, hey, destruction is coming to those that call evil good and good evil. That's not good. This is not good. This is evil. Society say that's good. They care. They have a heart. They're taking care of somebody that doesn't even belong to them. They taking care of somebody else's responsibility. They're giving them a home. They're giving them a meal. Nah, that's evil. That's wicked. The Lord said we're supposed to be with our own kind. How can the wicked raise the righteous? They will never keep the commandments of the Lord. They will cast them behind them. Yet and still they try to pose as if they know what's going on. As if they are the righteous. Nah, you in rulership. The Lord say in Job 9:24, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. So you in the ruling class right now, but you wicked. You're not going to teach our brothers and sisters who they are. You're not going to teach them that they're Israelites, that they're supposed to be keeping the commandments. You're going to teach them and raise them up to be just like you or to be worse than you. Just like we seen earlier, how Madonna raised them kids, got the boy growing up wearing dresses. What the woman name? Charlize Theron. She got the kids, the boys, wearing damn dresses. Wicked as hell. And then our people emulate that. They want to copy and mimic it. And you have situations like Dwayne Wade and others following in that. You know. But let's go to Ephesians. Go to Sirach 21:2 right quick. Sirach 21:2. Throat dry. And ran out of the water. Well, I still got to do.
When you said 21:2.
Start at 1.
All right. The book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 21, verse 1. My son, hast thou sinned? Do so no more, but ask pardon for thy former sins.
So if we have sinned, do so no more. That's the same thing that Christ was speaking when he was on the scene. When they came to him and was brought the woman who committed adultery. What he told him, thou who has committed no sin, cast the first stone. They dropped their rocks and they left. He told the woman, go and sin no more. My son, has thou sinned? Do so no more. But ask pardon for thy former sin. We need to be begging the Most High to forgive our sins day in and day out. Read.
Verse 2. Flee from sin as from the face of a serpent.
And do what?
Flee from sin as from the face of a serpent.
So we over here in Babylon being nourished from the face of the serpent. The Lord said, flee from the face of the serpent. Don't follow after their wickedness. Don't continue to be bitten, poisoned, polluted by this serpent. The Lord said, do what? Read it again.
Flee from the sin as from the face of a serpent. For if thou comest too near it, it will bite thee.
It will what?
It will bite thee.
It will bite thee. Read.
The teeth thereof are as the teeth of a lion, slaying the souls of men.
See that? The Lord said, flee from sin. Don't dance around and be tap dancing. Just like the brother played in that video last week with Wisdom, how the man was tiptoeing in and out of the lake or out of the ocean when the sign was telling him, hey, don't move that way. Don't go that way. He tiptoeing around and he playing with it. The Lord said, if thou comest near to it, talking about sin, it will bite thee. You keep putting yourself in that position, it's going to bite you. The teeth thereof are as the teeth of a lion, slaying the souls of men. It's going to slay you. What is the wages of sin? Death. That's Romans 6:23. What's the wages of sin? Death. So if you keep playing with sin, it's going to bite you, put you to death. Read.
All right. Verse 3.
Yeah.
Verse 3. All iniquity is a two-edged sword. The wound whereof cannot be healed.
All iniquity is as a two-edged sword. The wounds whereof cannot be healed. That's death right there. Two-edged sword. Think about that. All sin is a two-edged sword. Gonna cut you. Put you to death. All right. Last verse. Let's go to Ephesians chapter 6.
All right.
So, you know that the devil is out constantly trying to manipulate, trying to beguile us, trying to keep us tripped up, keep us from our blessings, keep us from the kingdom. We have to be mindful of these things. Let's go to Ephesians chapter 6, and we're going to start at 11.
All right. The book of Ephesians, chapter 6, and verse 11. Put on the whole armor of God.
Start at verse 10. Salaki.
No problem. Verse 10. Finally, my brother, be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might.
He ain't say be sometime. He ain't say be weak. He ain't say be paranoid, be trembling, scared, fearful. Said be strong in the Lord, meaning understanding truly who he is, what he requires of you, what he wants from you. Be 10 toes down, on fire for the Lord. Be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might, what he's willing to do for you. Read.
Finally, my brother, be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might. Put on the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil.
Put on the whole armor that you can stand against the devil and understand his tactics. Just like a coach would do when they a boxing coach trying to teach you how to win against the other opponent. He's going to show you the strengths and weaknesses. That's what the Most High has done in the precepts, in the scriptures, giving us the ins and outs, showing us how to beat the enemy. So we got to put on that whole armor to be able to stand against the wiles of the devil, the tricks, the foolishness of the devil, the craftiness of the devil. Read.
All right. Verse 12. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places.
Because it's not just going to be a physical thing. Everything is spiritual now. We're not lining up with an army going to fight against another nation. We scatter, we destroy it as a nation. We waking up into this truth. Every day it's going to be a spiritual battle, not a physical, but a spiritual battle that we are wrestling against.
Right.
Should I move in that manner? Should I go that way? Thinking about our thoughts and our actions. We fighting against the powers of this world, the influence of this world, the phones and the TVs, the music, the education, the nourishment of the serpent, against the rulers of darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. Read.
All right. Verse 13. Wherefore take unto you the whole armor of God, that ye may be able to withstand the evil day.
Withstand in the evil day. Read.
Having done all to stand.
Read.
Verse 14. Stand therefore, having your loin girded about with trust, and having on the breastplate of righteousness.
It says, stand therefore, having your loins girt about with truth understanding as to what's going on, how we supposed to be moving, that we have enemies, how they move, how they think, that their thoughts is deep, that when they see you, they're not just looking at you for what you are. They looking at what they can get out of you, what they can manipulate to get you to doing. You know what I'm saying? You gotta have your mind, have your loins girt about with truth. The Lord said the truth gonna set you free. You got to be built up in this truth. You got to live this truth. Having on the breastplate of righteousness. The breastplate is what guards your chest, that protects your vital organs up top. on your torso. Gotta have that girt up with truth. Read.
All right. Verse 15. And your feet shod with the preparation of the gospel of peace.
Gotta be seeking peace by keeping these commandments. Read.
Verse 16. Above all, taking the shield of faith, wherewith ye shall be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked.
Why? Because when you seeking peace by keeping these commandments, and you keeping these commandments, having faith that the Most High gonna protect you for one, that you're gonna live a longer life for two, that you're gonna be in peace, that the kingdom is on the way, and you know by keeping these commandments that you're gonna see right through the fiery darts or the wicked lies that your enemy gonna try to hit you with. Read. 17.
Hold up. And take the helmet of salvation and the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of God.
Exactly. You gotta have it built up in your mind. You gotta use that sword on a daily. And take the helmet of salvation, knowing that the Most High is on your mind. He's watching over you. And the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of God. You got to take that with you. You know, when you're on the battlefield, you going, you slicing and dicing with that sword. Hey, they throwing them lies. Hey, you chopping that up. They coming with the falsehoods. You chopping it up. The holidays, you chopping it up. The sword of the Spirit. Doing this. Read.
Verse 18. Praying always with the prayer and supplication in the Spirit, and watching thereunto with all preservation and supplication for all saints.
So Lord is saying we got to be praying always and watching thereunto with all perseverance and supplication for all saints. Doing all these things, praying once again for our nation, for the saints, for the nation of Israel. Praying always. You know what I'm saying? Talking to the Most High. But anyway, just wanted to bring this class out. Lord willing, you brothers and sisters learn something, especially going back to this once again. I just want to make mention when you go to our website, you can go on there and find out about these feast days coming up. We just got through celebrating destruction of Nicanor and Purim, but the Feast of Unleavened Bread is approaching, otherwise known as Passover. So make sure that you start getting your houses in order as well. It's very important that we keep the feast. That's part of our repentance as Israelites. When we putting down the ways of this world, when we fleeing from sin, we have to return to who we are truly. And if you go to the website, it'll have a lot of different information on there that you can go to and find out more about your history, about the things that we're supposed to be doing. You know what I'm saying? The new moons, how to keep the Sabbath, about prayer and fasting, about the laws. So, you know, brothers and sisters, when you get opportunity, do that as well. But nonetheless, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. All praise to the Most High, Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai, for the abundance of all things. Once again, today's class was called Spiritual Wickedness, the Chains of Oppression. Lord willing, be able to do a part 2, going into another topic. But I'm your brother Ananias.
Brother Ezekiel.
We are A.O.I, the Awakening of Israel. And Lord willing, you gain something from this class. But on that note, happy Sabbath. Shabbat Shalom to you all. Get your rest on. Remember to read, study, and apply, and pray for your nation of people. But on that note, we say shalom, shalom, peace and greens to you all, and we out.
Shalom.